He would have loved to have been here today, but sends his best wishes, and we will hear his special message soon. Luckily, due to the wonders of technology, those who can't be here can still join in the celebrations with our event being broadcast on the Bundaberg Now Facebook page. We're actually on Facebook Live now. A very warm welcome to our distinguished guests and to you all. Some of you have travelled from far afield as Mackay and Brisbane, and we really appreciate you all being here. To begin this morning's celebrations, I welcome Auntie Alice Long, NAIDOC Woman of the Year 2021, for the Welcome to Country. Please welcome Auntie Alice Long.
Okay, good morning, Olgada.
Good morning.
My name is Rosalind Ellis Long. I am a committee member of and treasurer of the Bundaberg South Sea Island Heritage Association in Corp. As a traditional owner also of the Goreng tribe, I now acknowledge the traditional owners of this land we're standing on. That's the Turapal and Bunda people, and also the Goreng, Bayali and Goreng tribes. I'd just like to welcome you all here today on behalf of all of those people, tribes. I'd also acknowledge our elders, past, present and emerging, leaders, as well as recognise our deep and historical kinship with our South Sea Island families. Welcome to Mayor Jack Dempsey, councillors, dignitaries, seasonal workers, Australian South Sea Islanders organisations, Pacific and community leaders, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, I'm also a proud Australian South Sea Islander and a descendant of and have family connections to the Vanuatu Islands of Santo, Ambai, Amrum, Tanna, and also, that's it. My grandfather, who was one of the 62,000 trafficked in the 1980s to work on the Bundaberg plantation and CSR sugar. Amongst many of the South Sea Island families buried in the unmarked graves at the end of the General Cemetery beside the South Sea Island complex now, I have family buried there also, and we hope that one day we will see the unmarked graves commemorated with headstones. Sorry. We are here to acknowledge our past and celebrate our resilience as a thriving community that looks forward to building a brighter future for our Bundaberg families, businesses and visitors to our region. Today, Vanuatu is Independence Day. It's celebrating its 41 years since the country broke away from the colonial rule by Britain and France, as well as we are making history in paying homage to our Mayor of Bundaberg, Regional Council and our homelands of Luganville Municipal Council and Santo, Vanuatu, having signed as a sister agreement. Thank you too much, and welcome to the lands of the Travelling Bunda, Goreng, Waiali, Goreng clans and tribes. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you so much, Auntie Alice Long. Well, the man whose vision today he had it from the beginning, and it's so wonderful that it can now actually take place. We will hear from the Mayor soon, but before we do that, I would like to call on Mr. James Tater for the Bislama welcome.
Thank you, Mikarem. Greetings. Lo you ikam lo Santo, lo Luganville, lo Vanuatu. Seren vorvor, nalara tarapei. Good morning, Olketa. Nem lo mi James Teter. Mi lo Vanuatu, mumi kam lo island lo Amprem. Mi work lo Blesia also one seasonal worker. Lo behalf lo yumi Wellness Bundaberg, more all seasonal workers will stand up with me today. Me like to acknowledge him. Taribelang Bunda, Kurang Bailey, Kurang, straight man Australia, we around Blehem today. You me stand up Blehem today. We emisave receive him, you me make him this special ceremony. Me also want to acknowledge him. All leaders belong Australia. All man straight where only pass lo pleasure finish, where only pass down finish. Those who stand up the table make him walk go. More amazing leaders while he come yet lo lead him this place. You make out people recognition, lo deep history, belong kinship, belong Vanuatu. More South Sea Islanders all one talk where they stop lo Bundaberg. Thank you, Thomas. Lord Mayor, Mr. Dempsey. What capacity blow you where you stop lo Blesia. Mikla Thomas. Grateful Thomas. Lo this special ceremony signing, co-signing, lo sister city agreement. Lo Santo, lo Vanuatu, Luganville, Council. Mo Bundaberg. With them hemiami wan dem talem thank you Thomas lo everyone. Merci beaucoup pour nous les francophonies. Makier Wesi Sope Mai from the island of Santo. Sipaten from Ambrem. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for that very warm welcome, James. And now, please welcome our Mayor, Jack Dempsey.
Before I start, what an incredible two beautiful welcomes that we've just heard here this morning. Please put your hands together. So good morning everybody and welcome to our celebration of Vanuatu Independence Day. I'd like to acknowledge the Newman people here today. This is your day. Thank you to the South Sea Islander Heritage Association and everyone who helped to spread the word and organise today at such short notice. On Wednesday, I, with our fellow councillors, signed an MOU with the Lord Mayor of Luganville to establish a sister city agreement between our two communities. Our two cities have much in common to share. Beautiful coastline, tourism, scuba diving, horticulture, to name but a few. We also have differences in culture and heritage to share and learn from each other. Here in Bundaberg, we're proud of our First Nations people, whose ancient culture we will be shared with Luganville as we forge even closer ties. We look forward to learning from the proud Newman culture and embracing it for our people also to learn and to grow. The Memorandum of Understanding outlines the objectives of our proposed Sister City Agreement and what we both hope to achieve. This includes exchanges to promote tourism, culture, farming, seasonal labour and education. It's my vision that Bundaberg will become the gateway to Australia for people from Luganville, all of Santo and other islands in the northern part of Vanuatu. With support from the Queensland and Australian governments, there are possibilities for us to provide training opportunities for people from Luganville to here in Bundaberg. We know how important seasonal workers are to both our economies. When people come to Bundaberg from the islands, they provide essential labour on our farms. Then, and when they return, They have funds to support their families and invest in businesses that create jobs and better their communities. It's our mission and responsibility to make sure that Ni Vanuatu are always welcome and looked after, just as they are cared for as our own sons and daughters. So, ladies and gentlemen, 41 years ago today, the New Hebrides became the independent nation of Vanuatu, ending decades of French and British rule. It's the right of every nation to determine its own destiny. The colonial era was not kind to Vanuatu. The islands were exploited for their natural and human resources since the Spanish arrived in Santo in 1600s. The British colony of Queensland was one of their exploiters in the 1800s, and this continued into the early years of the Australian Federation. I'm referring to the practice of employing indentured labour in the cane fields. Today I wish to extend a sincere apology on behalf of the Bundaberg region community for the abuse which occurred in blackbirding people from Vanuatu and other Pacific Islands to work in the Queensland sugarcane industry. Our sugarcane industry was built on the backs of Pacific Island labour, along with much of our infrastructure that we see here today, such as rock walls which are still visible and used by the community. Although slavery was abolished in the British Empire at the time, labour into Queensland cane fields was equivalent to slavery and abhorrent. I sincerely regret the pain caused to families and communities in Vanuatu and other island nations. Our industries today rely on voluntary seasonal labour. This must always be a relationship based on respect, courtesy, fairness, and most of all, trust. It is now my great honour and privilege to raise, with other members here, the Vanuatu flag. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much, Mayor Dempsey. And can we please give him another round of applause for that wonderful speech. Today, click on behalf of the Vanuatu government. High Bill Fair, please welcome Auntie Jane. And
Good morning, everybody. First, I'd like to say what an honour and a privilege it is for me today to stand here and deliver a message from His Excellency the High Commissioner of Vanuatu to Australia, Mr. Samson Luganville Fair. I would like to respectfully Aili, Garang, and neighbouring traditional landowners, elders past, present and emerging. We recognise those whose ongoing effort to protect and promote Aboriginal and Torres Strait cultures will leave a lasting legacy for our people. Traditional owners of the land on which we gather on today, we acknowledge gratefully all you for receiving our Vanuatu seasonal workers under the Australian Labour Mobility Program. His Worship, the Mayor of Bundaberg, Mr. Jack Dempsey, esteemed members of the Council of Bundaberg Region and staff, the Australian South Sea Island Association and leaders, members of the Australian South Sea Island public, the esteemed elders of the Bundaberg community, distinguished delegates, guests, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great pleasure to be here today to witness this historic movement between our two countries, Australia and Vanuatu. But before more so, to witness this great partnership under the flagship of sister city between two great cities named Bundaberg and Luganville on the island of the Spirit of Santo. I understand that this is the first agreement of its kind of sister cities between Australia and Vanuatu. Both cities are vibrant and have wide, diverse communities. Bundaberg and Luganville Santo share a lot in common. Traits being, 1, coastal cities, tourism, agriculture, as we have direct latitude from port to port. The industries I mentioned above, they relies heavily upon vibrant communities, and this partnership has further reiterated that. I would like to say that communities must be at the centre of development. As people to people, relationships are nation building and paramount to the success of outcomes of government programs and services. This partnership has strengthened further people to people relationships and connections. A very important component of the Australian government engagement in Vanuatu and Pacific, the Pacific Step Up. Vanuatu's history with Australia dates back as early as the 1790s, as our people were also seafarers of this era. Resilience is a beautiful strength to witness, as today we celebrate a vibrant community that can be tracked back to their roots to the islands of Santo and across Vanuatu. Identify themselves as Australian South Sea Island descendants of blackbirding. I understand that Bundaberg region is home to one of the largest communities of Australian South Sea Islanders, of which many were able to trace their roots back to the island of Santo, Vanuatu. Today, Santo families in Australia are the largest families married into the First Nation families across Queensland and the Torres Straits. His Worship the Mayor, Mr. Jack Dempsey, the dedicated councillors, the staff, delegates here today, and special people, ladies and gentlemen. Let's reiterate and continue support of the Bundaberg community, especially the Australian South Sea Island community, to Vanuatu on so many occasions. It will be reminiscing on my part not to mention the great support that the community has provided to our people in Santo and Vanuatu. During Cyclone Pam in 2015, which saw several containers being sent from Bundaberg. Also, just over 12 months today, we had a fire up here in the Federal Backpackers, where 22 Vanuatu workers lost everything. Would like to thank at this time the people of Bundaberg, the communities, the churches that rallied around my fellow countrymen to support them and give them strength and give them courage. Also, just recently, a little over 2 years ago, one of the largest shipment of medical equipment was shipped out of Bundaberg. This was done between two organisations, and I'd like to mention at this stage Rotary. Rotary here in Bundaberg and Rotary International serves as a great server to the land of Vanuatu. We all need to take a look at these people who are in these service clubs and see what they do for people in overseas countries. I'd like to also mention a part of Global Care Vanuatu, who was instrumental also in forming relations some time back, in forming a relationship that could be built on further things to happen in their community. For this, I sincerely thank you, thank each and every other member of the Bundaberg region community. This is just an example of many great supports that the Bundaberg community has provided over the past years. Prior to COVID-19 pandemic, the city of Luganville, Santo and Vanuatu largely benefited from the tourism dollar. And I have no doubt many from this beautiful region have visited Vanuatu for their holidays. Again, our appreciation for your support in various sectors will not go unnoticed. Today, we gather here again to mark another milestone in the relationship, and as stated in the agreement, for an establishment of a sister city relationship. We will work together to promote, celebrate historical and traditional ties between both communities, and considering our long journey and long history. Share common interests and best practices in areas of agriculture, tourism and education. Facilitate technical assistance where possible in enterprise areas such as infrastructure, waste management, education, agriculture, etc. I have visited Bundaberg region on several occasions, and during my last visit, dated back in March this year, I have met the Mayor, Mr. Jack Dempsey, and his able people assisting him in the team, during which we discussed the establishment of a sister city agreement between Bundaberg, Luganville, Santo. I am particularly pleased to see that the agreement has been processed in a timely manner. And on behalf of my government, the government of Vanuatu, I would like to take this acknowledgement and following. The Bundaberg Regional Council, under the leadership of His Worship, the Mayor, Jack Dempsey, his councillors, the Australian Government through the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade, you, me, all together, Wellness, Bundaberg, Jeffrey and Jane Smith, Auntie Jane Smith, sorry. The Australian South Sea Island, Port Jackson, ASSIP-PJ, Imelda Davis. The Bundaberg region community at large. Without your valuable contributions, this agreement would not have transpired. Vanuatu has continued to supply seasonal workers to Bundaberg region under the Australian Government labour mobility programs. And we are glad that we can meaningfully, economically contribute to the Bundaberg region, especially in agriculture, horticultural industries, let alone our contributions to the Bundaberg community at large. I'd just like to say, in our community sometimes, we may have 100 to 130 workers from Vanuatu here. We have also workers from the Solomons, we have workers also from Fiji, and we have also workers from Tonga and Papua New Guinea, Kiribati. It's a huge amount of workers. At a count up, I think one stage there was about 8,900 of these workers filling the position in the fields and farmers getting their crops off. I salute you. Today's event will strengthen further our existing collaborations of social, economic and technical level. And my office is looking forward to working closely with your able team to develop specific technical programs, projects in the areas covered under the agreement. His Worship the Mayor, Mr. Jack Dempsey, esteemed councillors, delegates from different organisations that are here today, there's quite a few, and ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of my government, as the government of Vanuatu, let me once again thank you all, and my office looks forward to working closely with you and with the greater community of Bundaberg region to foster our long-lasting relationships through sister city agreements and beyond. I hope that after COVID-19, Vanuatu, especially Luganville, Santo, will welcome our wonderful citizens of the Bundaberg region. For those of you that have visited Santo in the past, you would know that Santo has some of the most amazing tourist attractions, such as the many blue holes, the beautiful sandy white beaches, such as the famous Champagne Beach, diving spots, fishing, walking trails, etc. We look forward to welcome you soon. Thank you too much. Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much. At this stage, I'd like to hand the microphone over to my beautiful wife, Auntie Jane Smith. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Auntie Jane Smith. I'm of Australian South Sea Island, traditional owner of this land where we meet today. I too would like to acknowledge the First Nation people of Tarrabunda, Gurang, Baili, Gurang people, past, present and emerging. He will worship the Mayor of Jack Dempsey, esteemed members of Bundaberg City Council, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Today, event of Sister City and the Council of Vanuatu is something of a dream for me. Today, agreement signed with Luganville on this island of Santo has a good as that. How good is that? Personally, I would like to pay my respects to my mum, Hope Neonagus Egmelis Paulson, my brothers Roy, Desmond, Peanuts, William, Billy, Johnny, Sterling, Jimmy, Baden, who have passed and always never forgotten. I would like everybody to be upstanding for 1 minute silence for those who are not here with us today. In the name of the Lord Jesus, hear our prayer. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you too much to our Vanuatu seasonal workers that all made the effort of coming today. I thank you too much. Auntie Jane. God bless you. All have a safe trip back to your jobs.
Thank you so much. And I believe that the High Commissioner is watching via Facebook Live at the moment. So can we please give him a warm Bundaberg thank you for his wonderful speech. I would now like to call on Ms Coral Walker, President of the Bundaberg South Sea Islanders Heritage Association, speaking on behalf of the association. Please welcome Coral Walker.
Yes, it's okay. Good morning, all. Most of it has been said before me, but I will introduce myself. My name is Coral Walker, and I'm the president of the Bundaberg South Sea Island Heritage Association. Most of it's been said this morning, but I will speak on behalf of my family. I do not speak on behalf of anybody else here of South Sea Island descent, only my own family. I stem from the Nagas Ambertel bloodline. My mum comes from Eppie Island, her ancestors, and my grandfather comes from Tanner Island. So most of my connections are here today, I can see in the audience. So I welcome the elders of this South Sea Island, Australian and South Sea Island community this morning. Auntie Georgina Tanner and Auntie Loretta Forrester, who is a life members of the association at 46 Johnson Street. Also welcome our South Sea Island guests, the Vanuatuans over there. It's good to be looking at so many people here that represent our Australian South Sea Islander community here too. I also acknowledge my sister and Jeffrey for all the fine work they do, and Mr Dempsey and Alice. Alice is also here, she's part of our committee too, and we have Diana Fadiaki, which a lot of people are familiar with. So there's not much more that I can say, but I also would like to give honour to, on this God-given land I stand on, to all the TOs of this land, which I also am a part of. I married a Gureng man, so I have lots of connections here in Bundaberg. And I would like to also acknowledge Clacy Fatnauna, who is in the background here somewhere. He actually got us started off at 46 Johnson Street, where we are the representatives of the Australian South Sea Islanders here in Bundaberg. So that's all I can say at the moment, because everything's been said before me. And I hope you all have a nice day. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Coral, and thank you for the very important work that your association does. Well, we are now in for a real treat. We have the Seasonal Workers Choir here, so I'd please ask them to come forward, and they will lead us in the singing of the Vanuatu National Anthem. So, Lazar, if you can get everyone forward, please. Don't be shy. If you can sing, we want you at the front. And could we please get everyone to stand for the Vanuatu National Anthem?
Just 1 minute, it takes a little while for them to come. That's all right.
Come forward. Come nice and close for the microphone. Wonderful, thank you so much. Give them a big round of applause. That was so wonderful. Please be seated. Well, I now call on Mayor Jack Dempsey, Auntie Jane Smith, Coral Walker and James Tater to conduct the flag raising of the Australia, Vanuatu and Australian Aboriginal flags. And if the Vanuatu workers would like to stand at the back, they are welcome to. And Lazar, thank you.
Do you want to talk? Do you want to talk? Come around the back. Can get photo, please. Please come around the back, you fellas, so we can get photos. Thank you.
Selwyn, Fergie, can you come up here, please?
What a historic occasion. Well, thank you so much to everyone here today. You are now welcome to join us for morning tea in the Civic Centre.